Hi. I don't really know how to start this video. In fact, I don't think I've ever been this nervous to make a video since I uploaded my first ever one back in August of 2017. Now, I know what you're thinking. YouTube videos that start like this typically don't have a very good track record. You're probably expecting me to whip out a ukulele or confess to cheating on my wife with an employee, but luckily for you and me and all of us, I don't know how to play the ukulele, and I'm not married, and I don't have employees. All jokes aside, in all seriousness, I think this is one of the most important videos I've ever made here on my channel. I wanted to take a few minutes to just kind of reflect and talk with you guys. 2025 has been a very rough year for me. It's been a very rough year for a lot of us, I'm sure. I think just objectively speaking, this year has sucked. It's been very bad for a wide variety of reasons. And personally, I've been dealing with a severe lack of motivation to create content, a severe lack of motivation to do a lot of creative things I typically do, and that boils down to a lot of different factors. But last month, after really coming to terms with that, I took a break from my channel. I pre-recorded a bunch of videos and then went on a break, and about a week ago now I came back, and I spent a lot of time reflecting on myself and how I got here and my channel and this community and everything, and I wanted to spend some time to just kind of let my thoughts out here on camera and really get to the bottom of why I do what I do and why I love doing what I do here and what I want to do in the future. So this is just going to be me candidly talking. I know I tend to ramble, so I'm going to try to keep this one short, but this is a very important video, I think, for me to make, covering some very important things about me and my history here on YouTube and what I want to do in the future and how I want to handle things. So yeah, typically this is the sort of stuff I'd reserve to a community post, but I think it's important to put on camera. Yeah, like I said, this year's been rough. Look, usually I don't work with a script, but this is a video I was so nervous about making. I actually left some notes for myself here with different topics that I want to cover. The first thing here says 2025, and we're gonna circle back to that. But I do want to start off by kind of talking about how I got here, how this channel started. Since I was a kid, I loved filming videos. My sister and I used to do funny videos together. My friends and I, we all used to do funny videos together. And over the years, I'd kind of have on and off Cars phases. I watched a lot of YouTube as a kid, and around 2014, I was looking for Cars YouTube channels, and there really weren't that many at the time. It was basically kind of just Blue Collection, and a couple other more prominent figures in the community were just starting around then. And I didn't see any of them. I didn't find any of them. And the one thing I was looking for were Cars series, and there really weren't any. So I would just film videos with my own cars, telling stories. I called the series Cars Adventures. And you know, that name never went anywhere. It was never associated with anything else. What are you talking about? And guys, this is so distracting. The light hitting me. It looks like the Death Star lights are on me. I'm sorry. I should have put the camera somewhere else or filmed at a different time of day. Now it looks super dramatic. Look at me. Now I'm part of somebody's terrible student art film. Look, and yeah, I would just film with my cars, and I had so much fun doing that. A few years later, I went through another Cars phase in 2016, and I did some more. And then in 2017, I went through a very big one. When Cars 3 was coming out, I was almost upset with how I wasn't excited for it. I kept telling myself, you'll be excited when you see it. You'll be excited when you see it. But then one day, just like a switch in my mind flipped, and suddenly I became super hyped for Cars 3, and I was like, dude, I gotta go out there and buy the merchandise. So I did. I went out and I bought a bunch of Cars stuff, and I rediscovered Cars YouTube, which at that point had grown into a much more substantial thing, right? In 2016, I discovered like more prominent Cars channels, and when I went through a Cars phase in 2016, and then in 2017, I rediscovered them, and I went back to filming things on my own. Then in the summer of 2017, I had a horrifying surgery. I used to have severe scoliosis. That is when your back is crooked. If you look at pictures of my spine at the time, it was literally shaped like an S. So they had to put metal rods in my back to straighten it out. So now if you look at an X-ray of my back, my spine is still shaped like an S, except there are now metal bars in it to make sure that to make sure that it doesn't bend. It was a 10-hour operation, and I attribute that to a kind of major shift in my personality. I think going through that gave me a lot of confidence. I've seen times in movies where they'll justify a character having a severe shift in personality due to a surgery, and I can confirm saying that's kind of true. That's a thing that can genuinely happen. It happened to me, and I kind of view my life in two phases: before I had the surgery and kind of after. After that, I became a lot more confident. I was very, very, very shy, very nervous as a kid. Dealt with a lot of anxiety issues, a lot of which I still deal with today, but I was very unsocial, and going through that made me a lot more confident. And as I watched a ton of Cars YouTube in recovery, I started to think, like, wait a minute, what if I was on Cars YouTube? What if I did this? I've been filming Cars videos myself for years, and all summer I was recovering from that surgery, watching these videos and these Cars channels, and so at the end of the summer, I started. It was really like a dream come true for me. And you know, when you're starting out in something that's a field you looked up to, you want to be like in the big leagues. Like, you want to be up there with the big guys, right? You want to be a big name. You want to be like hanging out, especially because this fan base operates as kind of a tight-knit community. We're not a very large fan base, right? It's a pretty niche fan base. The biggest Cars diecast channels have a little over 100,000 subscribers, which is obviously nothing to scoff at, but we're not the size of other fandoms that I've been around. We're kind of a tight-knit community, and so, you know, it's kind of my dream to be kind of up there with those guys. And so I started my channel, and around 2018, like mid 2018, well, I was going and I was starting strong and I was making friends. A lot of large Cars channels just kind of dropped off. They stopped uploading a lot. And like, it felt like almost overnight to me. So many of these people that I looked up to just kind of vanished, sometimes without a trace. And that has stuck with me for a strangely long time. Since then, some of them have come back. But like, that really hit me hard when I was younger, when I was just starting out. It made me feel so alone for some reason. Like, I had just gotten here and so many people were jumping ship. I guess because like the Cars 3 hype train was over. If you look at my YouTube analytics, I'll tell you guys, 2017, 2018 were huge years, okay? To be a Cars YouTuber. 2019 and 2020, absolutely massive dip. Like, my analytics go, that's 2018. 2019, massive decrease. 2020, massive decrease. In 2021, it went up. In 2022, it went way up, and it's been up since, but I attribute that to what I was making at the time. A lot of eyes came to my channel in 2021 as I made some major shifts in content and did stuff like Ties Cars 4, and then my channel really hit a new high when I did the Cars Iceberg, and we've kind of been riding that since, as I, again, do that and other sort of major content. But yeah, after 2018, public interest was super way down. And as someone who had kind of just gotten here, it was really awkward for me. And it just made me feel kind of sad. And it instilled in me this need to keep going. Because, you know, on my side of things, obviously these are all people who had reasons why they stopped uploading. But a lot of them just kind of disappeared. And didn't really say anything. And I was like, oh, these are people I looked up to, and they didn't even tell their audiences that they were going to stop uploading. And that just made me sad. And that kind of instilled in me this feeling of like, I want to keep going. I want to keep this community alive. I want to keep doing what I'm doing and making what I'm making. And I also told myself, the day that I stop doing this, I need people to know, and I'm not trying to throw shade at other people, obviously. Anything negative I say about other creators, I'm not doing this out of malice or anything like that, obviously. That's why I'm going to refuse to use names throughout this entire video. I've been in this community for almost a decade, and I've interacted with a lot of different people in a lot of different ways, some positive, some negative, and I don't think it's right to go out of my way to try to expose people I've had negative experiences with. And these aren't negative experiences. These specifically are channels that stop posting, and I saw this and I was like, you know what, I want to keep going. And I've always had a very close connection with my audience. I have been reading every comment and responding to them and liking them since day one, and this light is so distracting. There we go. I'm back here now. Now I don't have light on me. No, but I've always had a very close connection with my audience. I don't like calling the viewers of my content fans. I feel like it's, there's a disconnect with fans. I know a lot of people. There are a lot of people from my comments that I've genuinely become friends with. There are people who, when they comment, I'm excited to see that they specifically commented. That's how cool it is to have a tight-knit community. As much as I love my other channel, Uptown Funk, it's not like that over there. It's not like that. It's a lot of people just coming, checking out the videos, commenting, and I really appreciate that. And there are people who comment a lot over there, but it's interesting, the dichotomy, the difference. We really operate like a community where we're kind of a small group, but there's this closeness that I haven't seen in other internet communities, and I think there's really a beauty to that, and that's kind of the benefit of being kind of a niche group. But as the years went on, I kept going and I kept going, and then in 2020 all the COPPA junk happened, and for an entire year I thought that was going to destroy YouTube, and it did negatively affect a lot of people. Unfortunately, this is YouTube. They're always going to roll out some really stupid thing everybody hates that everyone tries to stop, and then they do it anyway. Can't wait to see what the AI summary of my video says. Some guy talks about toy car for 10 minutes. Look, okay. That was really hard for me. I think to this day that was the most difficult thing I've ever gone through on YouTube was the COPPA stuff. To know that a bot could randomly claim, by the way, you're making children's content, and now no one can comment. Like, I was devastated knowing that I'd lose this community that I'd built across 2017, 2018, 2019. And for all of 2020, my comments were shut off voluntarily by me. And come 2021, I realized, wait, YouTube's not going to absolutely... Guys, they were talking about giving people fines. Like, you would have to pay if the bot marked it wrong, and that never came through. That's insane. Do you know how, like from a legal perspective, that would be a nightmare for YouTube to handle? Can you imagine if they rolled that out? And come 2021, the dust had kind of settled, and I realized, wait, if I do content, it'll probably be fine. So if you look at my channel now, all my videos for the past 5 years almost have been marked as not for kids. I have been automatically targeted once or twice. But, a lot of my older videos, where I am much younger, have been hit with that by YouTube. But what I do now, I realize, like, oh, I could do it and it could be fine. And so, my channel's been fine ever since. And in 2021, I really started to grow. In 2022, I really took off with the iceberg. And I've been on kind of riding this high for the last few years now. And then in 2025, things have taken a dip. Things have taken a deep dip. And I think there are a lot of reasons behind that. The first reason is my general lack of motivation that I've had to create content. This is something that's affected several elements of my life due to a series of personal issues I'm not going to get into here. But, yeah, I've not been enjoying making videos as much. Something that I've said before, I think one of the biggest parts of it are the big projects that I've announced that have become such a burden on me. I loved the concept of Project 10K when I was starting it. I feel no motivation to finish it, other than the fact that I know I have to because I said I would, you know? That's something that should have been finished a long time ago. It wasn't. It wasn't. I'm at over 12,000 subscribers now, which thank you all so much for that, but, you know, here I am still trying to finish up the 10,000 subscriber special. That was a big one. The planes video, that's something I really, really want to get out, but I haven't had the motivation to finish it. I've had like 30 reviews to do for the last year. So many different cars. The Cars Adventures also has been on a hiatus for over a year now. It's all these different things, all these large things I was working on that all kind of combined. Diecast History is another one. Love that series. Want to do it as much as possible. It's a nightmare to make. And all these things combined into this big clump of things that felt unfinishable. And unfortunately, going through those, a lot of them still haven't been finished, because when I took my break, I decided I need to restart. I need to find a point to kind of restart and ease back in. Because as much as I want to get those videos done, and they will be done, I want them to be done, and I know one day I will get them out. What's mattered to me, like, I realized that I haven't been making content I enjoy, and part of that is my lack of motivation. Part of that is general interest being down, views being down, making me more upset than it should. Part of that is a series of very, very negative experiences I've had within this greater community across the last year or so. Like I said, I've been here for a very long time now, and I have witnessed a lot of really upsetting acts from other people, oftentimes from other people that I looked up to at one point. You know, there have been some bad experiences, and it's just been upsetting for me. Let's face it, something is up with the Cars diecast line right now. This is a video I really want to do. We're in a very bad place for this merchandise line. It's the 20th anniversary, and we're about to have a year with like half the amount of cars we usually get. And there's a variety of factors behind that, it seems. There's the nightmare situation with the economy right now and all the tariff junk that's affecting companies producing things and causing prices to go up. There is, allegedly, I've heard from some other sources within the community, some just difficult stuff going on between Disney and Mattel that's causing issues. The Cars team was sent off to help reboot Thomas is another one that's been going around. There are a lot of different factors, and it's very obvious something is up with the Cars line moving into 2026, right? And in 2024 and 2025 as well. And, you know, hopefully that's corrected in 2027 with Lightning Racers. You want to make sure there's a big push for that. But, you know, right now, we made it through 2025, which is one of the worst years. And a lot of us became really negative and jaded this year. And, because a lot of us are watching this line do things that we don't like. You know, a lot of us don't like Race and Rescue. A lot of us don't like the decisions that have been made. My stance on it is that, like, we can't control that, right? Me yelling on the internet, I'm not saying other people are yelling on the internet, but like I'm saying yelling on the internet isn't going to make the toy line change what it does, especially if it is behind the scenes legal financial drama with Disney or economic things put up by the US government where we can't, you know, it's going to take a lot more than just me, a Cars YouTuber, saying there's a problem, right, for these things to be addressed. This year I felt less interested than ever in collecting cars, just because what's coming out isn't all that interesting. And I know that's a sentiment I share with a lot of people. I've seen other Cars YouTubers say it. I've seen people in my comments say it. A lot of people lack of motivation right now. They don't like what's coming out. They don't like what's going on. And it's difficult when that's primarily what you do, right? Like, I'd say the main content on this channel is reviews. It's not my favorite content to make, but it is one of the main things here. And it's difficult because, like, I can make whatever I want to make, right? But there's a guarantee, right, that there's new stuff coming out, and there's always going to be interest in new stuff. If interest in new stuff is low, general interest in cars seems to be lower. I have had some record low view numbers on race and rescue cars. I've had some reviews that did very well, but I've also had some that did insanely poorly. Part of that is probably my time and coming to a lot of the items late, because I had so many other reviews to do, I couldn't get those done. But another part of it is just a general lack of interest right now, right? It's a general lack of interest, and it's put, I think, a lot of us in this fandom in very awkward positions. Now, I'm lucky enough to be in a position where what I do and what I make that does the best and is most enjoyed by my viewers isn't necessarily reviews. There are a lot of cars channels out there that primarily focus on reviews, and that's great. That's never been what I am. I've always been a cars variety channel. And if you look across my channel, my biggest series are typically things like weird products or errors and inconsistencies, diecast history, cars randomness, a lot of different things that cover a lot of different areas. So I know going into 2026, so long as I hone in on those series, my channel will probably be okay and not continue to do super poorly, so long as I have the personal motivation to keep going, right? Because the rumors are that there are only like 9 new releases coming out for the entirety of next year, and that sucks, okay? A couple of good re-releases, but I know at the end of the day, I can make it through, because I have a lot of other content that I like making, that people like watching. The problem is right now, I'm not enjoying making it. And when I'm not enjoying making content, then I'm making less content. And when the content I am making that focuses on new stuff is uninteresting to people, then that you could put together and connect the dots as to why, right? I've said that my channel this year has been on the decline. I mean, literally, like, ooh, sorry. This, I think, is going to be the worst year. This is going to be the worst year for a variety of reasons. 2025. 2026, we're going to have very few diecasts, unfortunately, but the fact that next year is the year of the 20th anniversary gives me a lot of motivation. I find celebrating anniversaries incredibly important when it comes to media and just other things in general, and I have so many plans next year for videos I want to do for the 20th anniversary. I haven't announced them because I don't want to trap myself in another Project 10K situation where I have announced a bunch of stuff that I then can't get out. But I do have a lot of plans for things I want to do for the 20th anniversary. And the other good thing is when it comes to reviews and merchandise and stuff, while there might not be as many diecasts, we're going to see a lot of different items be released for the 20th anniversary. We already have the Speed Champions McQueen Lego set coming out. I'm sure we'll see other Cars experiences and merchandise and other Cars news. There's going to be a lot of Cars stuff happening next year because of the anniversary, and I want to do my best to cover all of it as well as my own specific anniversary content. So while there aren't going to be that many Cars diecasts to talk about next year, there's going to be plenty of Cars to talk about. So I think that'll be great. And then we have 2027, where we'll have Lightning Racers, which hopefully will have a large diecast push. And if it doesn't, and these problems with the diecast line persist, we have something that we've never had as the Cars fan base before. We're going to have a weekly Cars TV show. I feel like I'm going to have to restructure a lot of my content to accommodate Lightning Racers, because that's something that I want to be on top of, and I want to cover in a prominent capacity, and I want to cover week to week. So I know that things are going to get better, even if the diecast line itself is looking, in my opinion, the worst it's ever been. But it is difficult to remember that, and also the future is so unpredictable, and things are so unpredictable with stuff like this. It's hard, right, to kind of be in that mindset. It's hard to be in that headspace. But I mean, yeah. It's difficult to be in that position right now. But like I said, there's a lot of car stuff happening, and my channel isn't reliant on new stuff coming out. Again, a lot of my most popular stuff is stuff that isn't related to that. And I need to get that motivation back to make more of that, because that's what you guys want to see. And I know a lot of you guys want to see me making what I enjoy to do and what makes me happy, and I really appreciate that. That's the thing. Whenever I do videos like this or make posts like this or discuss things like this, I'm always so nervous that someone's going to come out of the woodwork and go, you know, and use this as an opportunity to bash me, which if you do, I don't care. I do not care. But you know, I always feel a lot of pressure to get things done, and then when I say that, people are like, "Hey, take your time, do whatever you want," and that's something I need to do a better job at remembering. I need to remember that, like, it's fine. You know, I'm. It's not like I have people outside my house with signs saying, "Make Cars Adventures Lap 3, Season 6, Episode 19." I don't remember where we left off on. Wouldn't that be insane if that was the number? That actually might be. That'd be crazy. You know, I appreciate you guys having patience while I go through kind of this difficult time for my motivation. And I need to do a better job at remembering that not only are there probably going to be some good times ahead, there can be good times now. And also that, you know, what matters is that I'm making stuff that makes me happy, and that also makes you guys happy. There's going to be a lot of experimentation on my channel in the coming months. There's a lot of stuff I want to work on and introduce. While I've been unmotivated to make a lot of the content you usually see here, and I do want to get back to doing series that you see a lot, especially Diecast History. One thing that's really helped me through this year is the kind of unscripted comedic videos that I've been doing. I have had a lot of upsetting things happen of late, and I have, like, one of the things that's really kept me going is watching content like that. A lot of what I make is often a reflection of the type of stuff I like to watch. Over on Up Down Funk, what you see is the sort of stuff I'd like to watch from a Muppet channel. This year, I have been absolutely obsessed with watching Current Smosh, which, oh my gosh, it's so funny. It's just a bunch of people doing improv and hanging out, and that's made me so inspired to do more unscripted comedy series. After I did Christmas Chaos, I was like, oh, I just want to do more fun videos with my friends. So we did more of those. And after I started watching a lot of Smosh and improv comedy stuff, I was like, well, I want to do more unscripted stuff. So you've seen a lot more skits on my channel this year. You've seen stuff like Car Chat, which was directly inspired by a series that Smosh did where they would have their cast members interview fake ex-partners, which is insanely funny, and they should bring it back. They really should. And most recently, when I was pre-recording videos for my break, I just picked up my camera and started filming Rescue Crew. And I love that series so much. So I want to do more of that. I really, really, really want to do more of that. There's always the concern of, oh, well, what if it doesn't do well? But when it comes to stuff like that, what matters to me is that it's out there and that I made it. And even if not a lot of people see it, what matters to me is that this content finds an audience. And I want to do more of that. So going into 2026, I think you'll see more of that sort of unscripted comedy. I know all my videos basically are unscripted, but you get what I mean. Just kind of improv style, going off, doing whatever. And I want to combine that with the other stuff you typically see on the channel. I want to make the future of the channel be very full of all the different content I want to make, you guys want to make, etc., without burning myself out, without overworking myself. I don't know how much longer I'm going to do this channel for. I'm graduating college in 6 months, which is crazy to think about. And I don't know where my life is going to go next. And I don't know if what I'm doing is going to let me do this channel. But even if things have to end, you know, this channel is always going to be a part of me and important to me. And doing YouTube is always going to be super important to me. If the day comes that I do have to leave, like I said earlier in the video, I'll let you guys know, of course. But I want to be here, and I want to make this the best it can be, even if it's a difficult time for me, even if it's a difficult time for this fan base, even if it's a difficult time for this world, for the world as a whole. I've always said, this sounds insanely stupid, but My motto has always been something that Kermit the Frog says in the Muppet movie, where like he's asked what he wants to do, and he says he wants to sing and dance and make people happy. And I think the internet is such a crappy place sometimes that I've just wanted to be here and be positive and be the best I can be. As a reviewer, of course, I like to share negative opinions, of course, but as a whole, you know, I like to. I'm here because I want to do things that make other people happy, make things that entertain people, that maybe inform people, that make people laugh. That's what's most important to me, and I want to keep doing that for as long as I'm allowed to. If they announced the Cars Diecast line was ending tomorrow, like, I'd still be here after, because this means the world to me. Even at a time where my interest in cars is at an all-time low, I still want to be here, because making this content and being with you guys, with my audience, is what matters to me. So, with that said, without even checking my notes, I've actually hit every single point on my list. Good for me. Wow. Look at that. Nice job. With all that said, I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. If you watched a couple minutes, if you watched all of it, whatever, if you fell asleep listening to my wonderful, monotone, cynical voice. And I just want to say I'm here because of all of you. And, you know, I've realized, like I said early on, the fact that a lot of other cars channels left, or that I've had negative experiences with a lot of other cars channels, that's something that I've carried with me for a long time, and that's been kind of a weight on me, and that's something that I really want to lift. I said at the start of this video that there was a time where, you know, I really wanted to be up there and hanging out with the people I looked up to. And what ended up happening instead is that I kind of made my own little community. I made so many great friends that I love talking with every day and working with here in the cars community. And, you know, I kind of carved my own path in a way I don't think I was ever expecting. And I think that's really a beautiful thing. To be here with this community, with these friends that I've made along the way. And I want to thank all of them. And I want to thank all of you for being here with me throughout the last 8.5 years. I started this channel before going into the 8th grade, and I'm about to graduate college. This is a time capsule of my life at this point. So I'd like to thank you all so much for watching this video, for letting me just kind of talk, spill my heart out to the camera. There's going to be some hilarious dichotomy with my channel today, because I have to upload 25 days later, and it's Daredevil Jones Dusty. So here's 33 minutes of me having a deep conversation with my audience, and then Dusty Crop Upper from Vitamin Mulch Air Spectacular. Did you know he is a plane? Bye now. Can you imagine if that should be my entire review? Thank you all so much for watching this video. Thank you for all of you for being here. It means the world to me. And like I said, I want to keep going. I want to keep doing what I do because it's very important to me. I don't just do this for me. I do this for everyone who wants to watch, right? I do this because I want to make content that makes people happy, and hopefully I've achieved that in some capacity. Even if it was just because I made Tractor Shorts 2 the Tractor King one time. Bye now.